Okay, so I am back. Let's see if I got this damn thing turned on right. Alrighty then. Cool. Over the weekend I didn't do jack with the game. Well, a little bit, but not really a whole lot. Been thinking about it, but haven't really worked on it like I thought I would. I need more hours in the day. Cool. All right. So, hmm. I guess we're looking at fields and the distillery and expressions and characteristics of the liquor we're making. I've been thinking about this over the weekend and thinking about time scale. Time scale's really not that important for the stuff I work on usually in the end. But at the beginning it's everything because I try to find a pace that I'm going to put the game in. And what I mean by that is like, are the players, is this what they're doing in a week? Is this what they're doing in a month? Like, is a turn a month, or is a turn a year, or is a turn 8.5 years, whatever the number is? And it's an estimation of the amount of time. And I was thinking of something much more daily because I wanted to express what it would feel like on the monotony end of things, sort of. But I decided to trade that in over the weekend for, instead of monotony, because I guess it's a bad idea to put monotony in a game, maybe, maybe not. But maybe we can look at, instead of monotony, we can look at control. How little control. We'll start from a place of very little control to a lot of control, and we're going to try to do it in a way that doesn't have a whole lot of input random as the game goes on. The game will start out with input random, meaning, you know, contracts will be set out, and you'll know these are the contracts in the game, but the random will be introduced by the players, and you almost know everything that's going to happen, but that doesn't change how the game. I mean, the game's going to have random because players are going to do stuff, and that's going to change what you want to do. I don't like games with a lot of random unless it suits the theme. So anyway, so I was thinking about time scale, and in time scale, uh, it's not going to work doing it day by day, week by week. It's probably going to have to do year by year, but let's just say abstractly we're looking at a year. Maybe it needs to be 6 years. I don't know. Um, a lot's got to happen. Your workers become better at doing their thing. The alcohol needs to get made, and it's got to tie in. Players have to have some agency, and also there needs definitely to be conflict. I'm not a big fan of the way I look at modern Euros that allow you to play by yourself and have no in your face with your opponent kind of time. I like lots of conflict between player versus player, and um, but of course, if it doesn't suit the game, then it doesn't suit the game. But I think it'll suit this game because just because it's competition, and we're looking at workers, and we're looking at environment, and we're looking at, you know, how many times have you worked at a place wherever you're working, and there's people who have ambition, there's people who are slackers. All of that affects the workplace. So there is in your face uh, actions and reactions. So I think it'll fit the game. Okay, so originally I had these tasks. Would You would pick from the tasks. Well, first you would do an auction, and then the ones left over from the auction get uh, randomly distributed. Let's see if we can tie that to contracts. So let's say we have contracts. And we're just going to make a funky shape, and we're going to call it contracts. We'll change the shape later. I just need, those are contracts. They're on a tilt for no reason other than I want them to look different. Call it a contract. Do I have a contract section? Let's see. What have I been doing over here? Contract. We have contractors. Okay. So we'll have contracts. We'll put this over here with a contractor so we know that we're basically working on that. Okay. So it would be cool if in the game we had a set of contracts, and in those contracts, for the sake of argument for now, they wanted these profiles. This is the expression they want to create. Okay. Then this is way too complex, but I need something to start with. And then let's say that one. Let's say we have contracts. Let me do another one. Screw it. Screw it. We'll just change those to yellow. Okay, so we have contracts, and then we also have what the distillery makes. So that besides contracting out, they also make their own expressions. We're going to call each one of these contracts basically an expression. Let's do one of these, and we'll do their house version, and we'll just straighten that up. And we'll call that it's just a funky shape now. There's no particular reason. Just so it's different than those. Call this the house brands. Okay, so the house brands, let's say there's a list. And then here, you can make it a quantity of each one. And of course, these are going to be different. You know, bam, this might be like that. Those might be green. And let's just say those are blue. Okay. So these contracts come out. Somehow, the players need to influence the contracts, and somehow the contracts need to be linked to the tasks. So the task may be trying to think of how not to do it random, but somehow this and those have to be linked. I could either do it where, let's say we have an offer, and then let's say here we have where they go. So in the offer, these are the contracts that are offered depending on the task people choose. Could influence how. Let me group these so it make it easier to show what I mean. Da, 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 da. Okay, so let's say I play this card. This one allows this one to go here, or this one allows this one to come into play. Somehow they're linked. Ah, okay. Interesting. So what could happen is, okay, so first, hmm, first you get these out. First, these are given to the players who match versus those who match three. Pick one in turn order. Okay, so they picked one. Those who match two in turn order, pick one. If you haven't already got one, those who match one, pick one. If you haven't already got one, shuffle, deal. Awesome. Now, when it's your turn, first thing you do is pick one of these that has at least two or a number. Right now it's arbitrary, so let's say two. Pick one of these contracts that has two on it and place it in the supply. So this one has a purple and a yellow. This one has two yellows, so I could place this contract there. Then this player who has this one would go and they would pick this contract and place it in. Well, after they pick the contract, then they put it, then they have, once they pick the task, they pick the contract and they put it in. Or something kind of like that. Maybe that's not too ass backwards. And then they do their thing where they pick the colors they want, they place them. And then they do their actual task on the card. Huh. If these are types of tasks, these are expressions, they're different. So I'm already in a world of hurt because they're not related. But they can be. We could color code these with cubes. So there could be this, and then it has that, and that. So your task allows that contract to be easier to make, and then it comes out here. And then you have the actual tasks. Okay, so this task with a purple thing is supposed to allow farming. I just haven't added the right colors yet. Oh, we haven't changed to these kinds of things. So let's say it was this task. This task made this come into play. This task will allow me to do ground level farming, ground level pre-production, and ground level post-production. I don't know. I kind of dig the idea. Don't really know. Let's see. Okay, tasks will move contracts based on matching the types of work needed to make that contract. Contracts come in, because that's also telling the company, here's how you make it. Okay. Once you have the tasks, then I need to actually make what these things do. And I guess that's the hang up right now, is what these things can actually do. And that I'll figure out probably in the next couple of things. So let's go one layer more of complexity. This is something that I kind of thought about a little bit. Let me see if I've got that other thing. Okay, so I'm thinking about doing, I guess it would be a stock market for the brands. So let's say you have a house brand. The house brand, let's just make a token for it, or let's just make something. Okay, so that's the house brand. And let's say the house brand is in play and it starts at 2. Okay. When you make, okay, so 1, maybe this has to be way further, but when the house brand, when all 3 expressions are available, it can move up. If the house brand is available, but there's too much of it, like the market's oversaturated, it'll cause, let's say if this is a stock market and we're trying to see whether this goes up or down, let's say if there's too much, it goes down, and if there's not enough, I don't know, if it's not enough, it'll also go down and lose popularity because there's not any available. If there's just enough, it goes up. I mean, if there's a low production, selects 1 of each is what you want. Ideally, it goes up 1. If there's like more than 1 of each, it'll stabilize. If there's too much, let's say if there's let's say if there's 5 or more of the production model. So what I'm basically saying is, okay, this expression, let's say during the game we can make it. So we make a version of this expression right here. This expression, we'll just call it a red, and we'll just give it a red. We'll say this liquor is, wow, why is it not? Oh, okay, bam, I'm dumb. During the game, somehow, I haven't explained anything because I don't know, just making it up as I go, we'll make 1 liquors. If we can make 1 of each, these 3 different types of liquors that are house brand, they're 3 different flavors. Let's say if it was rum, it could be, spiced rum, and maybe something that's aged rum, and maybe something that's aged older. I don't know. Just putting that out there. So if you have 1 of each, you're good. You're in the clear. You'll move forward. It's not over. You didn't overproduce. You produced 1 of each. Everything's cool. If you didn't do them all, then let's say it's a -1, and then if you did too much, so let's say you did 5 is okay, 6 is way too much. So that would look like, for just a general rule, it would be like, we could write 3 rules here in icon. Best way to write stuff in icon, of course. Let's say we do that. 1, 2, 3. Let me do that a little bit more better. Okay, so we did 3, and then we can do, that's still not great. For this rule, Let me double the size here. Bam. Let me do that. Push that to the top. We'll do like that. We'll get 3 states of these red dots. We'll put blank, and we'll do that. We'll say 3 that are I'll end up changing that. Not equal. Got a speak icon. 3 that are not equal. Plus 1. Let's change that to a better font, something I can see. 3 not equal plus 1. 3 or 2 is always under production, so that's always minus 1. 5 3 not equal 5. Let's do 4, and then we'll just do greater than. Is that right? Like that? Let's do 4. And then we'll put greater than 4 minus 1, and this is just minus 1 if it's 2. So if you have 3 that are not equal, it's plus 1. If you have greater than 4, it's minus 1. If you have 2, let's say this is minus 1 and down. Minus 1 and down. Okay, so that is how house tequila, or whatever spirit you want to do, is done. Maybe I gave it out what I'm working on. Nobody's watching these videos anyway. All right. So yeah, so that's the way it works. If you could do it, then you go up here or down here. That's how that works. And as far as contracts go, they'll have a set amount that they want, and if you meet that amount, it goes up. Otherwise, first it'll come in existence when it gets placed in here. Then we'll put that brand available on the stock market, and then if we make enough, it will go up. If we make enough, it goes up. If we underproduce, it'll go down, or maybe minus 1, or it'll go just down, or sideways, or whatever you want to call it. And if we make extra, now we have to find out the 3 versions, because if somebody says they want to buy here, I want to make these version, I want to make 10 of these, and they're paying for 10. And if you make more, it gets cheaper. So maybe it'll go up if you make more, because basically they're getting more than what they paid for. So it allows the price to go down. maybe that'll stabilize it. I don't know. I got to figure that out. I got to really, really think about that in the market. Why do we have a market? I don't know. I don't know why we have a stock market for the values of these brands. Maybe it'll be important later. Maybe that part will come off. I just thought it would be cool. Anyway, so now I've linked uh, contracts to the tasks. I just got to remember to put um, recipes to make those contracts easier to come out. And we got this thing for a brand's market. Maybe the market will be how the game, you figure out how the game ends. Maybe there's stock options for the workers. I don't know, but it's pretty interesting because I did it. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Now I've got to figure out what happens in each one of these divisions, and then tie that to what players actually do. Because here you are, let me get a player board. Here you are, you get stuffs. You're making your what you're good at work, and you'll actually do it at, like, you took the task, you from the task, here are the things you're doing from the task, then you'll actually do them in their sections, and then somehow that'll get transferred over to contracts and to the house brand. So we'll see how it matches up. But I think that's all for today. Hopefully that's not too confusing because my head's everywhere. Um, yeah, to recap, first the task cards come out, then you see who matches 3 colors, and then you see who matches, of the people who match 3 in turn order, pick the ones you want. Same thing happens for 2, same thing happens for 1, and whoever doesn't have any task cards, they get dealt out task cards at random. And then once you get the task card, each player in turn order will do the contracts. They'll match what their card says they need to do versus the contract, and that'll get dragged down. Maybe they'll have an option to do something here on the house brands. I don't know, probably not. And then the players would go and they would choose the tasks they're going to take, and they would put those into their thing, and then they would take their actions. All their actions are based on, they can take any actions that are on the card, but the card has to match stuff that's on their player board thing, their player mat. And then they would go and do it. Whenever they get to a certain point on here, like if they get too many, they can slide those down. That allow them to move in and out of tasks, because this is stuff that they're good at or whatever. But once they get parsed across the thing, they can get one of these skill tile markers. I don't remember. I'll have to go back and find out how these relate to those, but they need to get skill tile markers that'll go into, these things are actually another part of the task card, is they'll put these tasks into the task supply, and then once you get good at stuff, you can start bringing these things in. Will help you get better at the actual tasks that you do. So if that's not confusing enough, I don't know what is. So hopefully that's clear as mud. How do you turn this damn thing off? Let's turn it off. I'll see you later.